Welcome back. Today I'm going to try to play a rapid game here on camera, and hopefully it'll go well. I would say my confidence today is at about 50%, but I need to play one of these on camera. I haven't done that in a while. If you're new to my channel, I'm not a titled player or a chess coach. I'm just a random person who enjoys chess, and I'm trying to get better. One way to know whether I've gotten better through all my solving puzzles and game analyses is to actually play a game against a similarly rated opponent. So let's click start. I got a very similarly rated opponent. We have the exact same rating. I will start with e4 and see what my opponent responds with, whether the French or the Caro-Kann or the Sicilian or just e5. Oh, we got that, which is called the Duras Gambit. Well, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Am I supposed to take it? I have no idea if I'm supposed to take it. I'll take it. Let's see what happens. And they've moved the king out. Okay. Is this person serious, or is this a serious opening? Am I supposed to check? I have no idea. No idea what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to get my queen out that early, though. I'm just going to take more of the center here and see what happens. I thought if I checked, they might try to block with that pawn, but now I can't check because they've moved the knight out. But you know what I'm saying? I thought I was going to do something like that and then maybe get the rook, but I have no idea. I'm going to check with this bishop here and see what they do. They'll probably block with this pawn, I'm guessing. But now I've got this bishop pointed near their king. I need to get this knight out in castle. I have no idea what the point of that opening was. Let's see, if I take this, that helps them get their bishop out, but if I don't take it, then they take my pawn, so I'm going to take it, then I will get my knight out in castle. I'm going to put my knight right here where it's helping to defend that pawn, and then I will castle. Trying to play with opening principles, but also responding, to what my opponent is doing. It looks like now they are going to bring this rook out and get their king back there, so they've kind of castled by hand, I guess. Should I castle now, or should I try to pin that knight or something? I don't know. I'm going to castle. I noticed that they have, bishops pointed down here, not at the places that I was pointing. But yeah, they did pretty much what I said that they would there. I'm going to get my dark squared bishop out now, see what my opponent does. They might just move the king back like I said they were going to. That happens sometimes. I go to play a game and my opponent, pulls out some opening that they've learned on a YouTube channel somewhere, something like that. Let's see. I don't think any of my pieces are immediately attackable right now. So if I hop this knight in here and they hop this knight over here to aim at the bishop, I'll just take their bishop and then see what happens after that. I am aiming at this bishop, but I expect them to move the knight. Since they just put the bishop back there, I'm expecting them to move their f6 knight somewhere to attack my bishop and probably put it on e4. But I don't know, obviously. I do know that that bishop is only guarded by their king, so that would kind of drag the king further out a little bit if I were able to get it. They did hop the thing in there just like I said. I kind of want to take that first and then take their bishop. But yeah, let's take that first. They can take my bishop now if they want. Oh, they took with the king. Okay, then I'm going to slide this rook over just a little bit, which pins this knight to the king, and then maybe I can do that. But I just gave up the bishop, didn't I? I just gave up my bishop. They could have taken right there, but they didn't. Should I check again? I can check with the queen here. Or should I just trade the bishops? I don't know. Let's trade the bishops. They'll, I assume, take back with one of those two pieces. Okay, they took back with the rook. Now this pawn is pinned, but their rook is also guarding the knight. It's too bad I can't attack that knight some other way, or can I? What if I could attack that knight some other way? But the knight isn't pinned anymore, just the pawn is. So they might take that. But if they do, I think I'll take here first and then take their knight. At least I have all my pieces developed. Well, not all of them. My rook's still over there, but I have all the minor pieces out, which is one step ahead of my opponents. And I think my king is in slightly better shape than theirs, although they're getting pretty close to getting it back there. But let's see. I assume they'll take my knight. I haven't been perfect at predicting what they're going to do, but I've guessed right a couple of times. What else could they do here? They could play that. Okay. Well, I'm going to take the knight, which I don't think it's not free, but they can take back with the rook. They just can't take with the pawn because of this bishop. If they take with the rook, I think then the rook is free. Oh, did I win because that pawn was pinned? I don't know if I was ahead, but I thought that I was getting something there. I'm going to assume that I was ahead, otherwise my opponent wouldn't have resigned, but they might have thought they were behind and they weren't. I have no idea. Maybe there was some trick that they could have exploited. I'm going to click game review. That one was pretty short. I've only used up 6 minutes of video time on my end. Okay, it didn't say either one of us played outstandingly here. 60 and 50%. It does look like I was ahead most of the way, but right here, I brought it back to even because of, I'm so talented that way. But it does look like their little gambit was not a good idea. Let's see what the ratings estimator is. Oh, that 800. Well, thank you, ratings estimator, for that compliment. And you can't see it, but my opponent says 500. Not encouraging. But I mean, I'm still above 1200, which has been a struggle for me lately. I went way down into the 1100s, worked my way back up. I'm staying above 1200. Let's look at the game really quick. It does list their first 2 moves as mistakes. My mistakes came later. I'm guessing that the reason that the percentage was so low, 63% for me, is because it was such a short game, only 15 moves. And since I had 3 inaccuracies and a mistake in there, I mean, that's 4 out of 15 moves that weren't good, according to this. My opponent, though, had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 15, so fully half of their moves were no good. Again, according to this, which sometimes isn't very full depth. Okay, the tried and true e4 to start, and then they should, I should have expected e5, which I did, or e6, which I play as the French defense. At my level, I see all sorts of responses to this, but I think those are the 3 main ones. But yeah, what they played, I have never seen before. F5. At least I'm pretty sure. If I've seen it before, it's been so long ago that I've forgotten. Okay, I was supposed to take it. I wasn't sure, but I do know in a bunch of these gambits that you really are supposed to take the first pawn. There's a few where you're not supposed to, and I have trouble remembering which ones. Okay, but I didn't see a downside to taking it because it is their f-pawn. And they are definitely not supposed to move their king here. They're supposed to get this knight out, but since they did move their king there, okay, I could have checked immediately instead of waiting till the next turn. But d4 is what Stockfish would have played. Okay, I think just by habit, by instinct, I defaulted to the correct move, which was putting a pawn in the center. I'm not sure why that got a check mark. I'm going to back up here. It changed its mind. You saw that, right? Now bishop to c4 check is not listed, but queen to h5 is listed, which I wondered about. But d4 is still the best move. But had I played that, what other options do they have besides putting this pawn up? I mean, they could bring the king up, but those are the only 2 legal moves, right? I don't know what I would have played if they had moved the king up. It says I still would have played d4 at that point, and then they would have played g6. But if they'd played g6, I just would have taken it, right? Okay, see, this is what I was considering, but I didn't want to spend all day going through variations in my head on move 2 or 3, and then not have time to finish the game, especially if my opponent had studied this. But now they're in a protected check. They definitely don't want to take back because I would have gotten the rook. That's what I was thinking about. But I also didn't know, what if they just move over? Now what do I do? Oh, I just take another pawn? Okay, so my e-pawn then would have, gone all the way over there. Now they take with the rook and I have to run away, right? Or all the way back. But I would be at +3 because of, I guess, getting rid of all their kingside pawns. Okay, well, I did wonder about that. But now backing up here, again, it has queen. Okay, now it's moved queen to h5 check to the top spot. d4, it says it's my second best move, but it's given a higher number. I have run into that a little bit lately on this site, where after Stockfish reaches the depth there, it doesn't switch these 2 numbers, but it should, because the higher number for white should be the higher number on my turn. So d4 is still the best move, despite this one being listed at the top, because this one's slightly better. I just wanted to sort that out of my head, but queen to h5 check would have been fine, and I almost played it, but I decided to take the center instead. They played their best move here. I did not, because I saw this now, but it is developing a piece, so I don't know what the problem with it is. Knight to f3 would have been best, okay. But how far did this set me back? Not that bad. We're still around +2. And then they played their best move. I should have put this back. This is where Stockfish wanted the bishop on the previous turn, was on d3, or it says e2. But dropping it back this way to keep pointing at the king, which turned out to be the thing that won me the game later, if you'll remember, because that pawn's pinned to the king. But it took away more than half my advantage at this point. And they should have taken this pawn with the bishop, which I thought they were going to, but instead they just played this pawn, and it was my best move to take it, okay? And now they get their bishop out. That's what they wanted to do, I guess. And again, knight to f3 would have been better. I'm not sure exactly why. Either way prepares me to castle, and either way protects that pawn there. Not that it's in danger, but I'm not sure what the difference. I'm not sure what the difference is. Because either way, it blocks my queen, right? No, it doesn't matter where I put the knight, but for some reason, f3 is better. I went here because I guess I like to put it there, and also I was thinking about f4 after I castle. Bishop to d6 is one of their top 2 moves, so, good for them. But I'm still way ahead if I play knight to f4 now. Nope, it switched. Castling was my best move. Okay, well, I castled, so good. And again, they can play a5, that was listed last time, or rook to e8, which is what I expected, and then that's what they played. That's where I started thinking, wow, I'm getting great at predicting their moves, and then bishop to g5 is what I played, but that's a mistake, and if I remember the graph right, that's the mistake that put us back to even. I had to play knight to f4 here, and I didn't think of it until the next turn. Or if I did think of it, I worried that it would block my bishop's chance to get out there. Or getting the other knight out, which would have also blocked in my dark squared bishop. Okay, so this is bad because of the check. We would have been about even if they had thought to sacrifice that bishop there. I'm guessing, well, I don't have to guess. Here's the line. Okay, so I probably would have taken back, but maybe not. Every now and then when an opponent does that, I'm scared that taking back is bad, so I get over here, but either way, I've lost a pawn. But it says in this case, probably I would take back on h2, and then they can check me, which gets their knight out of the pin, and it says I would go back, but what if I went forward to threaten the knight? Oh, because then they would get the bishop and protect the knight, and their queen would be pointed right there. So I would go back, and then they would get the bishop, and they picked up a pawn out of the deal. So it would be both our dark squared bishops, but they also got my h-pawn. But yeah, that would have taken us to even by picking up that extra pawn, despite their king being out here, despite those 2 pawns being missing, because I guess they are about to castle, and they would have picked up the extra pawn. Okay, I think I understand. I think somewhere in the back of my mind, I was worried about h6, and then what would I do? Not worried about it, but worried about then having to make the decision. Do I take the knight at that point, or do I run away? And it says that that's their second best move, but instead they just brought this bishop back, which gives me +3. And again, it's knight to f4, and that's where I saw it. a5. That's like the 3rd or 4th time a5 has been listed as their best move. Or bishop to g4. But I kind of thought they were going to try this trick here, and they did. And I was supposed to check them. Really? Supposed to check them with the queen. It says they would have run away instead of blocking. Well, earlier I get why they might not have blocked because I had a pawn up here, but now I don't. So what would I do then? It says that they wouldn't block. They would go to f8 or g8. Why wouldn't they block? It's because I would take this one, and now they only have one legal move, and then that's checkmate. Oh, wow. Okay. But what if I go here and they just go back like it says to g8? Oh, and then the king's not defending the bishop anymore. I got it. I put this knight here to point at their light squared bishop. And if I checked, then their king doesn't defend the bishop anymore. I might have seen that, maybe. But I had already been scared off of the queen checking on h5 at the beginning of the game because I wasn't sure how it'd play out. And here my pawn's not there to help. Had it been a longer game, and if I hadn't been so discombobulated by their weird opening, I might have thought of that. I don't know. But instead I took the bishop now, and it was their best move to take back. And instead of moving the rook here to pin the knight, I should have just checked immediately or pinned the knight with the queen. But then they would have taken the bishop, right? It says if I had pinned this knight right now, they would have played king to f5. Why wouldn't they have just taken the bishop? Okay, but I did pin the knight. Still up nearly +4, and they are supposed to take the bishop. Okay, see, that's what after I did this, I thought, oh, they can just get my bishop. But they didn't. They ran away. And I didn't see the pin until a move later, I guess, because I played this first, and when they took back, I'm still supposed to take here. Wait, sorry, I don't get it now. I thought I needed another attacker on that square. It says I'm going to take that knight, and they're going to take back. So they're up on material, and I'm either going to play knight to c3 or queen to h5 check. But if I threaten the rook now with knight to c3, they're just going to run away. And now they're up in exchange, although I can get this pawn with either of these 2 pieces, which are rated equally, and then they're going to hide the king. Well, it says they're going to go to f8. I guess if I took with the bishop, they would have to, maybe have to go to f8 because it would be a check, but I'm not sure. So after I took that, and they took back, I pinned the knight. I thought they were going to take the bishop, but they didn't, and they went back here, and I should have just taken that. No, now it's changed its mind. Nope, it went back. For a second, it said I should take the pawn, which is defended, is it not? What am I missing? That's my second best move. It's rated about the same as giving up the rook for the knight. So if I give up the bishop for the pawn, they can take it, and why wouldn't they? And again, it's because I can check over here, but can't they block? No, they can't block with the pawn because of this thing that I already said. So let's say it says they can block with the pawn, but then I'll take h7. But let's say they run away like they're supposed to. Oh, and then I get the rook. Oh my goodness. Because the queen left the defense of the rook. Wow, there were a lot of complications in this game that I had no idea. But yeah, giving up the rook for this seems a little off to me. But I decided why not put pressure on it. And this is because they can just bring it back. Okay, that was why that was bad, because they can just bring their knight back. I thought they were going to take it because of their previous play. And then I would have taken the rook, they would have taken back, and then I would have taken this knight. And I thought we were about even. I had no idea I was at +3 here. But when they played that, I thought, yeah, I get the knight. And again, I'm supposed to take with the rook. And they're not going to take back. Yeah, I think they would have taken back. But taking with the knight was not bad. Okay, so I'm just up a piece and a pawn. Okay. And it is their best move to hide the king back here. All right, well, I'm glad I saw that pawn. I'm glad that I moved the bishop here when I did, even though Stockfish says that was inaccurate. I should have gone the other way with it, because that turned out to be, to help me solve this problem right here. Okay. I know my little analyses here took a lot longer than the actual game, but yeah, that was such a strange opening to end up in this position. Like, is that a troll thing? Or is there some kind of trap here that I messed up? Like that I didn't know about? Like if I had made some move here that they expected me to make, would I have fallen into some trap? Have any of you guys heard of this? The Duras Gambit? Duras? I don't know. Sometimes other languages use the same letters that we do, but they're pronounced completely different. And I don't know if that came from one of those languages. But it looks like Duras or Duras. Well, if any of you have run into that, please let me know. Thank you for spending your time here. I'll see you next time.